Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel, or welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're gonna watch Harry Potter and the Chambers of Secret. This is actually the second part that we have done, so feel free to pause it and watch the first one, or watch this one. Up to you. Anyway, let's get into it. This is of course a total isolation of pure manipulation. If you cannot send messages, let's say in this scenario, through an owl to your friends, it socially isolates you and you can control people quite easily. It's a very provocative method, and actually it does work. But yeah, it's not a good sign. Self-harm is such a cope of the mind, pretty much. So it's a real disease, and many people in real life struggle with it, obviously, as does Dobby. Getting a physical pain to relieve the pain and not think about the pain mentally, it's a bad sign, of course. And if you happen to have it in real life, seek out a professional, of course, and bless you. But yeah, you can definitely see he's pretty much in a bad space here. And also the reaction of to sit down equally as a normal wizard would. That gives you a step up in his book is just amazing to describe, of course. The fact that we see here Dobby using magic without a wand really shows that eventually perhaps duels can be performed amongst human wizards in a way that does not revolve a wand. And I don't know which kind of thing comes first, like the magic within a being, or the energy, like for example the tree of the wand that is specifically magic based. I don't know. If somebody knows, please leave it down in the comments. I would love to hear that out, and learn a little bit more about that specifically. Having bars on your windows and having locks on your door from the outside is really, really like a prison. Jeez. My opinion, very important in a way. Naming an animal, a different kind of species, doesn't really seem that big of a thing at first, right? But honestly, think about it. If you're disinteresting in something or somebody, you reverse pretty much you're too lazy to learn anything about them. Or if you don't have respect for something, you often name it different than it is to benevolent or belittle something. And it's a classic way of showing a disinterest in certain things. In this case, of course, the owl instead of the pigeon. It really shows. It shows a way that they pretty much have no heart. Yeah, he played it really well. The switch is just too perfect. She is such a typical mother, being completely mad at their sons, obviously, because they're quite rebellious and steal a freaking car. But at the same time being so careful and loving.
And who are you?
I absolutely love Mr. Weasley. He is so funny. Just not knowing who Harry Potter is, the best friend of of Ron and everything like that, and pretty much his daughter is continuously talking about him the whole summer. And then the first thing that you say is, "Who are you?" It's just amazing. Oh, I absolutely love it. I have zero words for it. It's just too fun. Instead of being mad or whatever, just the first thing is adventure in his mind. Not mad about a car or anything. And he only obliges to his wife to become quote-unquote mad and punish them in a way which, of course, is not sincere. Very well played by the actor. So here, exactly like that. So pronounce it clearly, go by the rules, etc., right? Watch what happens. Yes, perfect. You see this grim atmosphere and everything like that, right? So this is a I think very well thought out by the writer of the book, of course. Can't remember the name, sorry. If you're not paying attention, right? Things will happen to you in life. And if you're not clearly watching what is happening, or you're refusing to watch something that you clearly need to watch towards, you will end up in hell, pretty much. And what that will mean is you want to walk to the place where you at least want to watch it. And if you're not paying attention to your surroundings, things can jump on you, right? So he clearly sees his best friend performing it perfectly, but still didn't really pay attention, and eventually, basically by doing that, jumping in complete darkness, a wrong place, a place where you not want to be because you didn't pay attention. And this is kind of a reference to perhaps if you have one little small thing in life that you do not pay attention to, that small little thing become two small little things. It's nothing too much, but you have twice the much work, you know? And if you snowball that effect, you have a freaking dragon in your house pretty much, you know, or a serpent or whatever. Something is clearly wrong eventually. And this is basically a step into the descent into madness in a way, I think. It's really nicely done. What you're going to see over here is pretty much how Harry is not prepared. He just completely negates the fact that Harry is a human being and tries to, you know, up his sail and everything like that and make a story out of the blue. It's a tendency that's good for sales, but morally, I don't think it's really that great. Yes, this is a perfect thing in my opinion. He invests a little bit to gain more, and even though it's morally odd to track somebody in and use him as a selling point, yeah, I don't know, it's a very odd trait. And even though he gives Harry something, it's inevitably that he only solely did it to gain more publicity, because now everybody thinks, oh, Harry wanted this book, so now I must have it, right? It's an odd thing. It really is. It's pretty much how social media works as well in real life.
We meet at last.
This is pretty much the first time that we see Lucius, and we're 20 minutes in the video right now, in the film. And I think this part, what comes up, is a hint to later on the end of this video. And it's a part of the begin of the second Horcrux in a way. I will show you. It's so nice. It's so subtly done. And it didn't really occur to me what's about to happen up until I maybe saw it 5 times or something. It was really subtle. I will show.
Forgive me. Tattoo.
Yes, here. This is what I mean, guys. He grabs this book, right? There's only one book. Pay close attention. Only one. By the way, the insults here throw them off what he is originally doing. And I think this is genius due to the fact that if you insult somebody and the person gets hurt, the first thing that you want to do is respond back. And you're only and solely busy with a comeback or maybe being in shock, right? It depends on the person what you're going to do. But you're pretty much at that point consistently focusing on verbally what happened, because this attack was verbally, not physically. But what happens here,
The Weasleys.
amazing, because now
Children,
it's still one book. Pay close
there's a man
attention.
in here.
Watch. 2 books, right? 2 books. So this means actually he provides, Malfoy's father provides the Horcrux to Ginny to do the Dark Lord's bidding. And I never really catched on to it up until I saw at least a couple of times where she actually got the book, if that makes sense. Yep, he's pretty much doomed. A broken wand is almost inevitably doomed, as he puts it in his words. It is once, we go back to what I earlier said. One little problem becomes 2, becomes 3, becomes 4, and then you're pretty much screwed, which he is right now. I never really understood why Harry did not, for example, help financially the Weasleys, because he's wealthy as no other, pretty much. He's one of the wealthiest persons alive, so...
Honorary member of the Dark Force Defense League.
In the earlier clips, we saw him being fond of himself, but then having such an introduction of who he is, it overcompensates a lack of self-awareness, but also a lack of self-control, and I will phrase it as low self-esteem. You overcompensate and scream at the world that you're something big, right? But only the people who are quote unquote truly mentally stable and big mentally and developed a confident, a soothing confidence of peace within. Don't scream, don't yell. You won't pretty much ever hear them unless it's absolutely needed. And if you see this, it's basically a painting of him painting himself, which really screams, look at me, how big shot I am, how confident I am. But actually it's just a blanket. It's like a mask, you put something up there so people can see it. And in my opinion, it's a bad representation of yourself because you don't have the awareness and the esteem to be just you. So therefore you must scream at the world. It's you can clearly see he's all talk, no walk, pretty much. And it goes deep. It goes layers upon layers with him. And you can clearly see it at this painting.
And 5 times winner of which weekly's most charming smile award.
And as you see, the girls are pretty much charmed by him because it's a persona that he pretty much evolved, right? And with I think he is a really gifted magician. So working on perfecting certain charming spells and whatnot, I can see why the allure is there to think that he is a big shot, if that makes sense. And I think only very gifted people can manifest such a illusion with magic, right? So it's portrayed very good, in my opinion. Yes, 100%.
At least no one on the Gryffindor team had to buy their way in. They got...
I love this part. Basically due to the fact that now Harry's rival pretty much is a seeker as well, and they're set up to a competition to basically, a pissing match in a way. It's really cool to see that that the rivalry goes on not only in school but also within the sport.
on pure talent.
He screwed himself over here. So over here, Harry has detention, of course, and he hears for the first time Voldemort in his head. And as they are gonna describe it, it's something very bad. And I really think this goes back, way back in real life as well, with hearing voices, maybe schizophrenia or something like that, where one person, or disassociate, right, where one person hears multiple things, and in history it was never perceived good. And still to this day, it's not perceived good. We can manage it, and we have therapy and things like that, and medicine and whatnot. But back in the days, people thought you were crazy and dangerous, perhaps, right? Which is also shown in this series, in this Harry Potter series. It's just beautiful. The chambers has been opened. Enemies of the air, beware. First one of all is written in blood, straight out of a nightmare, right? No good. Secondly, it's actually rhyming. And rhyming is a thing that requires a certain amount of skill in real life. It's more difficult than you think to rhyme something. And once you rhyme something, it gets stuck in your head. Think about the last time you went to school, or maybe you're still in school and you need to study for a test. You make an answer rhyme so you can easily keep it pretty much in your brain for the study the next day or whatever, right? So rhyming is actually a primordial thing to have. It's really difficult because we start off with sounds at first to describe danger or whatever, right? Then we have pictures, paintings and whatnot to really go there. Then it's full on talking, and eventually it's writing. So pretty much that's somewhat linear of how evolution worked. And to understand a rhyme, not only easy to understand, but also in a way to make sure if you have a diabolical plan to really stick it and cause more mayhem than just solely some text. Makes sense. I love this. Absolutely love it. The fact that he comes in with knowledge behind the fact to just make it all about him, that he knew the curse and how to counter it, and it's all too late, you know. It's all too freaking late. And you can see Dumbledore's eyes. His eyes are, as you saw, like, really, dude, really, that's the important part? No, it's not. It's nowhere close to the important part. It's amazing. We are definitely gonna talk about it.
Can you all?
It's just amazing, honestly. It really is. So I absolutely love this. Watch what the professor says. I don't want any of you youngsters
Any of you youngsters to worry.
You still have your potion master when I'm through with him. So, which is basically indirect a threat that he is superior to Snape, which is completely a delusion, of course, and also confirmation to the kids that it's only a friendly banter, but it is still provocative by miles, completely miles. Sorry, hiccups. And watch Snape's encounter here. He still hasn't said a single word. Instantly starts the duel, which basically means Snape knows his own abilities, his own word. He doesn't have to express how great he is. He just shows up and completely demolish him, the professor against the dark arts in just this friendly banner. And that's the difference between confidence within and a lack of confidence to shout out. It's beautifully portrayed here. Watch the battle. It's honestly fun to watch. It's just perfect. Still, up until this point, he hasn't watched us or said anything. Just straight in it. Honestly, a little early and little, sneaky. But he had it coming in a way, if that makes sense. So, yeah, it's just completely nice to see. Because you also show here that you need to prepare against the unexpected, if that makes sense, right? And then still not acknowledging that he overstepped his boundaries, he insulted Snape, and just doubling down on the fact that he still is superior. It's just insane how delusional one person can be in this trade-off of a duel that's only instantly done by one hit. It is crazy, by one spell. So I absolutely love this here. He is now in Professor Dumbledore's office, and he sees over here the Phoenix. The Phoenix resembles quite a lot. It's actually a mythical creature that... And what does it mean, right? That's the real question. So, as you actually know, my profile of YouTube is actually a blue phoenix. The reason why I did that and why I'm so obsessed with the phoenix is due to the fact that the phoenix has fire. And fire is this strange thing, you know, if you have a bonfire, for example, and you're just watching a bonfire's going loose and just doing its thing, right? It's so intriguing. It's almost hypnotizing. Besides that, the phoenix grows very old before it dies, and out of the ashes it revives himself as anew. Just watching this, and I had to play it back, because I was thinking about it, and what does it mean to be a book, right? To be a book and writing in a book is to preserve knowledge, for one thing. And we used to do that through stone, way back in the days when books weren't there. And we evolved to reading and writing, and now we have books. So what does it mean to jump literally in the book, as you will see over here? So he literally jumps in the book, right? And Tom Riddle wants to explain something or show something. And I think to preserve knowledge in a book is to basically read somebody's mind. Because you have a thought, therefore you write it down, somebody else finds it. And it's basically if you're time traveling in a way, as this book is doing right now, to show 50 years ago, right? To the mind of Tom Riddle, which in my opinion is really cool. And in a way we also evolved now from, let's say, stone to book, but now we evolved from book to YouTube, film, and things like that, right? So in a way it's a meta game, kind of, you know, and it's just really showing within a deeper level of how a book truly works. Because sure, it's a Horcrux, but what really is a Horcrux, right? Is to make something immortal, to never, you know, die, pretty much. And a book is a way also to never die. So it's very logical to make a Horcrux out of a book, because now you have the soul within the book to make a Horcrux, but also the brain and the feelings and everything like that. It's just super cool to me. It's honestly, I really didn't think about it up until now, but it's really damn impressive. Wow. So this here shows that pretty much the Professor Dumbledore knows that Harry is here, with Ron, of course, because the side eye up and things like that. And over here you see it turn around and has a suspicion, but cannot really make out anything of it. And the reason why I think that Dumbledore knows why they're there. Because perhaps he saw, first one of all, the 3 cups of tea, of course. Well, otherwise Hagrid is alone. Why have 3 cups of tea, right? The second one, I also think, due to the fact that since Dumbledore gave it to Harry, the cloak, he might have some knowledge of the magic within it, or maybe, you know, spiritly, magically bind or have a knowledge about it, but that's just solely speculation, of course. The interesting thing is that they go below, if that makes sense. And when we pray or think about God or anything like that, we always think up, right? When you go to heaven, you go up. When you go to hell, you go down, pretty much. So to have a gate open, literally, as you see right now, into the darkness is such a representation of hell, pretty much. Like, if you see that, guys, that right there, like, you really don't wanna jump in there. It's pretty much hell. You don't know what there is. You know that there is at least one basilisk. It's just crazy to think about, right? So I think the placement in this chamber is pretty much spot on. It's going deep into the depths of hell, pretty much. As you see over here, they're basically just straight up going into a pile of, I assume, something like rat carcasses or anything like that, right? So it shows there is something predatorial straight off the bat, which is not a good sign, of course. So I'm really curious about this part and the basilisk, and this is of course very smart to be doing by the Phoenix itself, because now you cannot pretty much get killed instantly. So that's good, because if a basilisk cannot see, it cannot cannot kill you. But the thing is, I'm really curious whether... So, okay, listen, hear me out. The Phoenix scratches the eyes out, right? But to be able to scratch an eye out, you must first actually look where to scratch. Thus, the Phoenix must look into the eye of the basilisk. So, is a Phoenix thereby then immune to the attacks of a basilisk? I assume so, otherwise it doesn't make sense, right? Because how can you grab something if you don't know where to place your hands, or in this case, your claws, your paws, or whatever. So it's really the talons, pretty much, right? It's really odd to me. So I think because the Phoenix is magical as well, a magical being, it might not work upon all magical beings. So maybe a centaur or a giant or anything like that is also immune, because it's a magical being, if that makes sense. But then by extension, non-muggles, so magical human beings, should be protected as well, but that doesn't make sense. So I'm really curious. But yeah, maybe it's only animals in a certain way, if that makes sense, right? So as you see, Harry is actually watching, and you see the reflection or the shadows, right? So he knows he can watch and see the basilisk. No! So I was speculating about that part that you saw right here. So the sword of Gryffindor basically sliced through the basilisk's mouth, right? And therefore gets imbued, the sword gets imbued by the basilisk venom. And basilisk venom kills Horcruxes. Now the thing is, if that is the case, do you guys think that Voldemort basically possesses with his Parselmouth abilities specifically this basilisk, so it cannot get used against it, because he already knew it was perhaps the only thing that pretty much could kill Voldemort, and therefore he had to obtain it and master over it. Or that he just, because he has the ability to be partial mouth, and did not know that that was an antidote against the Horcrux. But as you see over here, the indentation will be showing that he, I think personally, that Voldemort does notice it. The basilisk venom is his kryptonite, let's say, right? So yes, I think personally he mastered the ability over the basilisk solely as a means to an end to not get himself killed, if that makes sense, and also have, of course, a very powerful being on his side, which is a freaking basilisk from, I don't know, 30 feet. It's crazy. So as you see over here, this may be, so okay, the Phoenix has healing powers, right? Healing powers against venom, toxic things, etc. So this might actually shows why the Phoenix is therefore immune for the basilisk power of the eye, if that makes sense. Because if the Phoenix is an antidote to chaos, let's say, and to everything evil, let's say, right? It really can show that he must be immune against physical attacks as well, in a way that has abilities, not precisely a bite, of course, but more like a stare from the basilisk. So yeah, very interesting. I personally always thought that Phoenix feathers healed, and not just the tears.
Of course.
But it makes sense.
It is our choices.
It's not the ability, but the choices. This is such a true line, honestly. I cannot not say it better myself. It's just so nice, because the thing is, how to fall down inwards in a spiral, let's say, right, is always to look outwards and not inwards. Oh, it's his fault. Oh, it's her fault. Oh, if this didn't happen, then I shouldn't, or then now I'm forced to do this or that because that happened. No, it's not. It's always your own choices, whether you want to make the right choice or you want to make the wrong choice. And often people who are not within themselves mentally, or how we will say, through the psyche, right, and not know who they truly are, they cannot make truly good decisions. And I personally don't really think, let's say a hero, right? If a hero is 100% evil, you cannot relate to that, because everybody has something good in them. Or, you know, a villain, I could rather say, sorry, my bad. And if a hero is 100% good, you cannot relate to it either, so it becomes very still, very fast. But if a hero is, let's say, 51% good or 55% good and 45% evil, and you see the struggle within the person, you can relate to it, because everybody in our lives struggles with one thing or another, right? So therefore it's more going through the experience of the watcher, the person who watched the show, right? It's really nice to see something like that. And I think if you're not looking within and only blame outside, so external problems, to not internally make the correct choices, a descent into madness is bound to happen at some point or another. Whether it is a drinking problem, or whether it's a drug problem, or whether it's just, I don't know, not keeping up a job, right? Those things are a descent into madness, so keep that in mind. But it's just beautifully explained by by the professor here, of course.
I don't know what
This is basically a way to trigger. So okay, of course Harry has a plot to give the socks to through the book to the elf, right? That's the whole plan. But watch how he does it. It's so genius. He provokes it by, I have something that's belonging to you, which clearly indicates that he is up, that he knows that Malfoy has done this, like Lucius, right? That Lucius has done this evil act.
Oh, I think you do, sir.
He denies it.
I think you slipped the diary into Ginny Weasley's cauldron.
And here he says, I think you slipped it in the cauldron to Ginny in Diagonal Alley. And it is precisely the same tactic that Lucius is falling for that he did. Because Lucius earlier did the verbal attack upon the children to not let them know about the book and therefore slip in the book. Now Harry precisely does the same. The verbal attack to throw off Lucius, to not think about what he has in his hands.
That day at Diagon Alley.
You want to get rid of anything that you have in your hands right now, because he is so focused on the verbal attack from Harry, and you want to be ready for a battle or anything like that, which is coming up shortly. I will show you. And therefore now gives the sock and the book to Dobby, right? It is just genius how he fell for his own act. So Lucius did the verbal attack to maneuver a book into the pen, the cauldron, right? And now he's just falling for it by Harry. It's so nicely done. Like, honestly, I think it's one of my favorite series to watch by far. It's just so magical, so nice. Guys, thank you very much for watching my channel. Thank you for reacting, liking, subscribing. It means the world to me. Thank you guys. Have a good day, and I will see you in the next one.